in a relationship. We've seen this a lot in movies. Bandwagon, you see it in too. Minnelli's Bandwagon, my favorite Minnelli film. But this was also my realization that the old Hollywood was really gone. The Hollywood that I grew up watching and the fantasized Hollywood that I saw on a screen. Because all those elements, we were dealing with the last vestiges of those people who had made those films. Sidney Gurlock did the hair. Bill Saraceno was the music editor. These are people who had worked on all the great musicals by Minnelli and Stanley Donen and Gene Kelly, and Charles Walters. It was almost trying to hold on to that thing I was describing to you earlier about that obscure object of desire, to hold on to something that only has a time and place for a moment in life, and it goes, and that's the end of it. And so it's something you can't really, I try to embrace it and make it something new, and combine the two styles, but I don't think we really succeeded very much in New York. After this scene I thought played very well. And later on, there are other scenes that played very well, but as far as the whole structure of the film, I wanted to be loose and rambling and excessive, and I may have gone too far in that direction. But that was the approach to it. As far as the men and women in my films, those are two good scenes. I didn't realize I hadn't seen them like that before. But the two men turned out to be really bad men. I mean, Harvey Keitel's character beats up his wife in front of her, and he's a horror to her. And the idea of De Niro's character, though, was to get as obnoxious as possible and still see if you care about him. That was the idea. He's wearing the Hawaiian shirt that's almost exactly like the one in From Here to Eternity that Montgomery Clift wore. Of course, that's a black and white film, but we you know.
But when you improvise, like in this scene, and when you follow more the script, like in Alice,
yes.
Do you do more takes when you improvise?
Well, in this case we were excessive. We did many takes, maybe 40, 50 takes over a period of 5 days, and it took about 4 months just to edit this one scene. I was experimenting, and at that time, 1976, we were allowed to. United Artists allowed us to experiment in this way. Eric Leskow was an amazing man, and Arthur Krim. They also greenlit Raging Bull before they left and became Orion, you know. But the thing about it is, after improvising this way for 3, 4, or 5 days, which was the beginning of the film, we then did it another way, which we improvised in rehearsal and wrote it up in different. We wrote up each take, chopped up each take, and then I took the pages and created my own scene from those pages of the improvisation, in which the actors then worked from that. And that I found to be the best way. I did that again in Goodfellas too, particularly in the scene where Joe Pesci says, "Do you think I'm funny?" That was improvised 2 or 3 times, and I worked out the scene, gave it to Joe, gave it to Ray. They did it exactly as was written. As written, meaning as they had improvised it, but structured. And that worked, I felt. I like doing it that way. It's very difficult, but I like doing it that way. And in the case of the Goodfellas film, of course, that was based on something that actually happened to Joe Pesci with a friend of his who was, I don't know if he's still alive, but the last time I heard he was in jail.